What if the story we've been told is not the story that was written? What if a single mistranslation, repeated for centuries, transformed an identity into a place and buried the truth in plain sight? The Greek text does not say Jesus from Nazareth. It says Jesus the Nazarene. Not a location, but a title, a lineage, a role first given to Joseph, the one set apart to preserve life. This presentation follows that identity across scripture, history, and enigma, to recover a message nearly lost, not sacrifice, but salvation of the mother, not fear, but restoration. The message of the Nazarene still stands, if we are willing to see it. Nazarenes, Epiphanius writes, Panarion 1:18, they acknowledged Moses and believed that he had received laws, not this law, however, but some other. And so they were Jews who kept all the Jewish observances, but they would not offer sacrifice or eat meat. They considered it unlawful to eat meat or make sacrifices with it. They claimed that these books are fictions and that none of these customs were instituted by the fathers. This was the difference between the Nazarenes and the others. Look carefully. The phrase Jesus of Nazareth does not appear in the original Greek text of the New Testament. It is always written, Jesus the Nazarene, not a place, an identity. The familiar phrase, from Nazareth, is not what the text says. It is an artificial translation, created by turning a title into a location. This is precisely the kind of shift Philo of Alexandria warned us about. Greek Nazaraios translated the Nazarene, Greek Nazarenos also translated the Nazarene, Greek Nazareth translated Nazareth, a town. The truth has been hidden behind a mistranslation. The Greek text does not say Jesus of Nazareth, it says Jesus the Nazarene, a title, not a location. His identifying title was hidden in plain sight. And when it was reinforced time and time again, the entire story changed, and the truth about Jesus was buried. Genesis 49:25-26. Jacob blesses his son Joseph. Because of El your father, because of Shaddai, of the breast and womb, blessings shall be on the head of Joseph, on the NZR of his brothers. Joseph was identified as the NZR among his brothers. Not a place, but a role, a title, the one set apart to preserve life. And when the Gospels speak of Joseph's son Jesus the Nazarene, they are not pointing to a town. They are invoking an identity that reaches back to Joseph, Rachel's son. The word Nazarene comes from the Hebrew root, NZR, a word associated with separation, consecration, preservation, but more than that, it is a lineage. From Abraham to Isaac to Jacob to Joseph. Joseph is remembered as the savior of Egypt. Pharaoh had dreams no one could interpret. He asked Joseph to interpret them. Joseph reported them to Elah, mother. She had observed the cycles of drought, analyzed the resulting famine, and solved the problem. Tell Pharaoh his dreams are a warning to store grain during years of abundance, to feed the nation during the time of drought. Joseph was given the credit for having such wisdom and rewarded handsomely. Pharaoh made Joseph vizier over all of Egypt, a reward for his outstanding wisdom. But Pharaoh sentenced the baker to death. Why? Did Pharaoh remember Yahweh's prohibitions against false prophets? Did he condemn the baker to appease Yahweh? Analysis of circumstantial evidence. LHM's wisdom saved Egypt. Pharaoh gives Joseph the credit. Joseph reveals it was not him, but Elah mother. Pharaoh assumes she is a false prophet. Pharaoh orders that Elah mother be put to death. Elah mother was also known as the baker. LHM is Elah mother, also known as the baker. But who is the baker? Genesis 35:19-21 explains, Jacob buries his wife Rachel on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlhem. Over her burial, Jacob set up a pillar. That pillar marks Rachel's burial. Israel moved on again and pitched his tent beyond MGDLDR, keywords. Ephrath or Mephratha from Para, fruitfulness, another name for Bethlehem. Bethlhem, rendered Bethlehem, is translated house of bread. BTLHM, rendered Bet Elah, M is translated house of Elah, mother. BTLHM, rendered Bat Elah, M is translated daughter of Elah, mother. BTLHM, rendered Betula, M is translated virgin mother. MGDLDR, rendered Migdal Eder, is translated tower of the flock. MGDLDR, rendered M Gadal Adar, is translated mother great glorious. MGDLDR returns again at Micah 4:8-10, the prophecy of the return of daughter Jerusalem. Elah M, also known as the baker, was Rachel. Pharaoh pronounces the sentence, Elah mother must die, a life offered to appease Yahweh, but Joseph listens to another voice, not the voice of fear, but the voice of Elohim, Father El and Elah mother. He will not allow her to be sacrificed again, he will not surrender her to death, he will save her. Joseph saves Elah mother by hiding her behind a male identity. The Orthodox story says the baker was killed. The Nazarene enigmatic version whispers they claimed she was a eunuch. But the truth is this: Joseph saved the great glorious mother. The house of Shammai celebrated Passover with sacrificial lambs and elaborate feasts. The house of Hillel quietly memorialized Joseph, who saved the baker of bread, the mother great and glorious. Hillel's grandson was Nazai Gamaliel, president of the great Sanhedrin. Hillel is remembered in later Jewish tradition as a descendant of King David, linking Gamaliel's authority to Israel's royal house. Circumstantial evidence suggests that someone within Gamaliel's house conceived of a way to present the story of Joseph and the baker that would be memorable. Marcus composed a Hebrew midrash that would be enacted in the streets of Jerusalem. The first performers were most likely Gamaliel as Joseph's son, Jesus the Nazarene, also son of Elohim, his mother as the Betula M. Mariam, his wife as daughter Jerusalem, Mariam the MGDLDR. Yahweh's priests in the house of Shammai created problems for Rome. They refused to compromise, and they killed Hillites who denied that Yahweh was their deity. But Rome quietly supported the house of Hillel because Father El and Elah mother were revised to echo Zeus and Hera in clever enigmas. Yahweh plus Zeus became Yah Zeus. Hera, HR rendered Ha-Ora, is translated the light. Mariam, M-R-M, rendered M-Ora, M is translated mother, light mother. Yah Zeus, Mother Mariam, and daughter Jerusalem would unite the house of Shammai, the house of Hillel, and the houses of Zeus and Hera, Isis and Osiris, Cybele and Attis. Hello, Pax Romana. And so when Caiaphas complained to Pontius Pilate that a Yah Zeus was claiming to be ruler of Israel, Gamaliel's plan was set into motion, and they left clues. Pilate repeatedly finds no fault, yet yields to pressure, suggesting through Enigma that Pilate was a covert participant who had given instructions to Roman soldiers. Members of the house of Hillel shouted, "Crucify him," while others pretended to be distraught over his crucifixion. The priests and members of the house of Shammai were kept a long distance away, unaware that the performance would be replayed annually, coinciding with Passover. They did not come to mourn. The mother and the Magdalene came bearing myrrh, frankincense, and sacred oils, ancient resins of healing and preservation, used not only to honor the body, but to sustain life through the passage between death and return. As Isis once tended Osiris and Cybele kept vigil over Attis, so the mother and the Magdalene entered the tomb not in despair but in devotion, guarding, nourishing, awaiting the turning of the third day, not an ending but a passage, not loss but restoration. That morning, around April 19th, 37 CE, the first Easter dawned. Yah Zeus, the Nazarene son of Joseph, the Betula M, and daughter Jerusalem, appeared before the cheering Nazarenes, who invited Shemites to join them in a joyous celebration of life and peace. No death, no sacrifice, no merciless Yahweh to fear, no sacrificial animals to be purchased for slaughter, just treat others as you want to be treated. The priest of the house of Shammai sees what is happening. The people are leaving, no longer bringing lambs, no longer buying sacrifice, no longer fearing death at the hands of Yahweh. The house of Hillel is growing, teaching that the mother was saved, gave birth to the ruler of Israel, who returned with daughter Jerusalem. Peace and mercy triumph over sacrifice. Life, not death, is the will of Father El and Elah Mother. And with every soul that turns, the power of the priests fades. So they gather in secret, not to seek truth, but to stop it. Because if the people no longer need sacrifice, they no longer need them. Then Paul, who had been raised at the feet of Nasi Gamaliel, had an idea. Jesus the Nazarene, son of Father El, who offered his life to save the great and glorious mother, was buried, not in a tomb, but beneath a story. In his place, a new figure was born, Jesus from Nazareth, son of Yahweh who demands blood sacrifice. He came with a warning: proclaim belief in vicarious atonement, or face everlasting punishment. Then the shift was sealed. He shall be called a Nazarene, because he came from Nazareth. A title turned into a place. Mark was brought into agreement. He came from Nazareth, and with that single interpolation, something profound was lost. Bthlhm, house of bread, Bethlehem, house of Elah Mother, Bet-Elah M, Virgin Mother, Betela M, disappeared from the story. Though Matthew and Luke still carried echoes of it, the foundation in Mark was shifted. The story changed, the message changed. Trust in Father and Mother gave way to fear of Yahweh, greater than ever before. Retribution replaced forgiveness. Suspicion replaced love. Fear became the weapon, and it worked. But remnants of her story remain if we know where to look. The name Easter did not come from Rome. It comes from an older memory, a goddess, Ostera. Folklore and linguistic connections link her to dawn, eastward light, fertility, and renewal. The English word east shares the same root, reinforcing her association with the rising light, the return of life, the season when the earth becomes fertile again. Long before doctrines, this power was already known in the rhythms of the body and the cycles of the earth. She was remembered as Ostara, in the season of spring, in eggs, in new birth, in the abundance of the earth. Though her story was buried, her symbols remained. Polycarp preserved their memory, even in his name. Many fruits, the way to Ephrath, the way to the fruitful, the way to Betula M, the way to the house of bread, the house of Father El and Elah Mother, the way to the daughter Jerusalem, who teaches peace. For a time, ignorance could be forgiven. When the laws of nature were unknown, fear and superstition filled the void. Fire from heaven was not divine wrath, but a natural reaction understood by some and hidden from others. But today, the world has changed. The wonders of nature are no longer mysteries to be feared, but truths to be understood. The choice remains the same: fear and superstition, or knowledge and understanding, belief in the supernatural, or trust in science, and still, the invitation has never changed. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." The final voice of Revelation speaks, not with fear, but with light. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright morning star. Before the sun rises, before the world fully awakens, there appears a single light in the east, faithful, radiant, returning. The ancients knew this light. They called her by many names: Astar, Ishtar, Ora, Asherah, and Venus. She rises, disappears, and rises again, a sign that darkness never has the final word. And then the voice is no longer alone. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." Not command, but invitation. Not fear, but union. Not sacrifice, but restoration. The bride stands beside the Spirit, the fullness of being, Elohim. The feminine and the masculine, restored, the divided made whole. The garden lives again, children play, the stream flows, the trees bear fruit in their season, and all creation breathes in peace. For we are not separate from the heavens, we are born of them, we are made of star stuff and called back to the light. This is not the end of the world, but the renewal of it. The morning star rises and the invitation remains, fear not, come. She rises in the east, she is Easter.